What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today is Thursday, August 31st, day number 30 inside the Big Brother house. We still have 70 more days to go. And at this pace, I don't know if I'm going to make it, people. It's been wild. We've got a lot to go over from the feeds yesterday, but let's first talk about the episode last night because there was some interesting stuff that we got to see, some new information that we didn't really know. So let's kind of go over what happened. First off, it was a big night for secrets. We saw Cory tell America about his brother Zach, how he played Survivor. Funny thing is, if you guys watched the last episode recap, or we talked about Sunday's episode with the pressure cooker competition, the HOH, we actually talked about how during the conversation where America told Cory she made a deal with Cameron to make sure that she wasn't nominated and that she wasn't a replacement, she also included Cory in that deal. We actually talked about, like, in that convo, Cory then told her, hey, my brother is Zach. He played on Survivor. He got booted really quickly. It's not a big deal. And she didn't really think it was that big of a deal either. But we actually got to see that today, or not today, but on last night's episode. So it was kind of weird that they split that between episodes. Like, it would have made sense just kind of put them together. But they did. And then they also showed how America admitted to Cory that she actually went to Brown University, which was an Ivy League school. I saw a lot of people were like, what does that mean? If you don't know, Brown is a very prestigious university. It's in the Ivy League. It's not on the same level, but it's in the same kind of category as like Harvard and Yale. It's a very prestigious school. It's hard to get into. Should that really matter? No, not really. Not really. It doesn't mean America's some super genius. Although, right now, she might be the one who sees what needs to happen in the game the most. And we'll get to more of that on the feed update later. Other than that, another big secret that we saw revealed was Jared telling Blue about Cirie. We talked about that on the updates last week. And we kind of were under the assumption that Jared was able to kind of play it off for jokes, that Blue didn't really buy it. If anything, he thought it was Felicia and that, you know, it wasn't even really a thing. And, you know, there was maybe a little bit of that we saw in the feeds where it seemed like she was trying to fish for information when she was talking to Cirie and Felicia. But what we found out was she's been piecing it together. And not only does she think it's not Felicia, she actually does lean that it's Cirie. Because we have seen over the feeds that Jared has been dropping hints. A few weeks ago, they were out in the hammock and he dropped hints about, you know, oh, like my dad's from here, my mom's from here, and oh, I shouldn't be saying this because you're smart, you're going to put the pieces together. Well, guess what? She did. She put all those pieces together. The facts that he's talked about, he's been around reality TV before and that his mom really knows stuff a lot. He talked about how he's been to Fiji. Like, Jared's just been pretty much telling her flat out, look, Cirie's my mom. Do you realize Cirie's my mom? If you haven't noticed yet, I look a lot like that lady over there because she's my mom, is basically what Jared's been saying to Blue. So it's no real surprise that she was able to figure it out. We just didn't actually know if she did or not. We kind of assumed she just thought it was a joke. So it's interesting to see she does know. She has not shared that information as far as we know with anyone. So I guess maybe she's holding that in her back pocket. Maybe she doesn't even think it matters that much. I'm not sure. But it's definitely interesting to know that she's got a pretty good idea that Jared is Cirie's son. We then also saw another little secret taking place, and that was Matt locking in with Cirie, where he ratted out Cameron for kind of wanting to start this new alliance with Cam, Red, Bowie, America, and Cory, and of course, Matt himself. This fell apart pretty quickly. Cam and Red kind of turned on Cory and America, and they don't trust them like at all anymore. So that really wasn't ever going to be like a thing. But Matt leaking that to Cirie really locked him in with her. She was filling out the adoption papers for a while. Since Riley was officially going to be voted out of the house, because before there was potential flip where they were going to blindside Isom and keep Riley, Cirie was trying to pull her in. Cirie's really good at this, where she sees these lost puppies, right? Oh, they need a home. Come on over. And she was trying to do that with Riley. That's why there was maybe going to be that potential flip that took place. When that fell through, she realized that Matt was a perfect lost puppy for her to adopt, bring into her family. She's got her 2 kids at home, Jared and Cirie and Izzy. So she needs to bring them home a puppy, and Matt is that puppy. On top of that, she also has Corey kind of locked in. And at this point, Cirie's daycare has expanded. They don't really have age limits anymore since Red and Cameron are kind of in there too. But yeah, it was still interesting to see them identifying how much that Matt trusts Cirie, especially with what's going to come on the feeds update later. Stay tuned. Still a couple more things to talk about with the episode, including Condom Gate. We talked about that on the feeds as well, where Izzy threw a box of condoms into the room that Corey and America were just kind of chilling in on the swing bed in the have-not room. They were under the covers, and it was like, ooh, they're under the covers. And Izzy wanted to throw condoms in there, which she did eventually do. We didn't see that on the episode, but what we did see was, wait, where are the condoms? So everybody was kind of looking for it. Everyone's like kind of looking at Jared and Blue, and they're like, chill. So that was kind of a funny little moment they shared on the episode. And then we get into the competition. And one of the big things I want to point out is how much the competitions have been stepped up this year. They are not on BB Can level. BB Can is known for going very high production with their competitions. Almost all of them look amazing every single week they have them. With BBUS, especially over recent seasons, the competitions almost felt like they were rushed and kind of thrown together. This season, though, they've really stepped their game up. And my theory is a lot of the times they're not only using that kind of off-site competition area that they've been using for a few seasons now, but they've also been using these unused studios near the house that are all off because of shows and movies that normally would be filming around this time of year, aren't filming because all the actors and the writers are still on strike. Which, by the way, how wild is it that they're still on strike? Like, we've well past the previous writer's strike, which actually brought us Big Brother 9 in the winter, which now at this point, I can almost guarantee there's going to be a winter season of Big Brother. Because this strike is going on for so long, there's not going to be programming. So keep an eye out for that. We might have a lot of Big Brother coming up this year. But I think it's been something that's really nice for the show, because since they are using these like off-site studios, it gives them more time to build up the competition. They're not rushed to have to tear it down, build it up. They got an HOH, a veto, and then another HOH all in 1 week that they got to kind of build these sets for, tear them down, lock the house gets inside. It also makes the game flow a little bit better when they have the backyard, because there's more space for them to talk. And I think that's been a big thing this season, is they've gotten the backyard a lot. There's been very few times that they've been on full lockdown. And I think that's been something that's really helped the game kind of keep flowing and moving. Now, the competition itself was also really good. Oh, one more thing about the competition space too. One thing I do know is they're going to need to be moving houses within the next few years. The lot that the BB house is currently on was sold, I think, like 2 years ago, maybe last year. But it was recently sold not too long ago, and there are plans to renovate the entire studio. And the current lot that the Big Brother house is on is planned to be renovated within like the next 2 years. So that would then mean they're going to have to move houses soon. There's going to be a new location for the Big Brother house. I don't think they're going to be able to get that lot back again, It's totally possible. Who knows? But at the very least, if there's going to be renovations happening, you would think they would have to do something with the house. And I hope that they're planning on having a separate competition space. Don't make it the backyard. Have a separate space where you can do the competitions. It gives you all the time you need to build one up. If you need to do 2 at once, or if build's going to take longer, you can still use the backyard. But give them more space and have a dedicated area for the competitions, because I think overall it's going to bring the competitions to another level. Anyway, let's talk about this competition. It was kind of a cool one. There was not only a riddle on the wall with letters that they had to figure out what the word was, but before they could even get to that point, they had this little puzzle on there. It was very Indiana Jones like, where he has to swap out the trophy, the little thing that he grabs, that golden, what was it, golden monkey? I forget what it was in Indiana Jones. But he had to grab that thing off and switch it with the sandbag. You guys remember that scene? And then it goes down and the big ball rolls. It's iconic. If you haven't seen that movie, I mean, go watch Indiana Jones. What are you doing? But they did that, and there were all these little symbols. There were several podiums. I think there was like 5 in total that they had to balance completely and put the right weights on there. Once they did that, that would allow them to get the letters. They could unscramble it. We saw Jared just completely mess this up. Jared just couldn't figure out that it said golden for the life of him. If he was trying to throw, he couldn't have done it better. Poor Mimi couldn't get the letters to even stay up. Every time she would run away from them, they would just fall down before she could hit her button. Red crushed it and Jag crushed it as well. But one little slip up from Jag was all the difference. He ended up with a time of 2 minutes and 41 seconds, where Red was able to get 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So 21 seconds was the difference between Jag winning this veto and Red winning this veto. So yeah, wild. Red ended up not using the veto, meaning the nomination stayed the same, Jag and Blue. But we still have this power that is for play. It's all going to play out on tonight's episode. So will Jag or Blue get evicted? And if they will be evicted, who has the power, and will they use it to cancel this eviction? We've got news on that, because that pretty much covers everything that happened on the episode. Let's jump into the feeds. It was another chaotic day, and Cirie actually kind of pointed out, she's like, hey, you know, it's a full moon tonight. Yeah, because it was crazy. Everything was going on. Bowie was crying. America was about to confront Red, and she was fuming. And then there were snickerdoodles. That was a whole thing as well. We're going to go over everything. Plus, we know who has the power now. Let's talk about that. So, some of the things that we know for sure. Cirie played in the competition. Matt played in the competition. Jag played in the competition. I will go as far as saying I'm 99% sure Cory competed in the competition. But I will say there is a small chance he's just BSing. Because he said it to America, and then later he said it to Izzy, and he was like, oh, you know, Izzy, like, should I do anything with this superpower? And then the feeds kind of cut, which kind of made it imply that he had the superpower, but we don't think he does. Because, and this was actually kind of funny, if you aren't in our Discord, you should really check it out. There's links in the description down below, pinned comment as well for my Discord. We were actually chatting about this. And I made a post. I was like, okay, so here's my like official guess at the moment. Cirie, Matt, Jag, Cory probably played. I would assume then, since Cirie would have told Izzy or Jared that she won, and Matt would have told Cirie if he won, that Cirie would have told Izzy and Jared if Matt won. So I felt like you could almost eliminate them two as winners. Then, the way Cory was talking about, it seems like he didn't win if he did play. That kind of narrowed it down to Jag. Maybe Jag was the winner. But literally half an hour a half an hour after I made that comment in Discord, we see Cirie telling Jared, Matt won the power. It was a great moment for me. I don't like to toot my own horn, but toot toot got that one exactly right. I figured Matt at this point is so locked in with Cirie that if he won, he would tell her. And the fact that we didn't hear anything kind of made me think, oh, well, I guess he didn't win, and neither did she, because she would tell Izzy and Jared. And wouldn't you know, just a few moments later, that's what she did. So yes, as far as we know, Matt has the power. She told Jared, plus also some extra stuff on like a little bit of how it worked. So she kind of walked us through it. She said Matt will have to tell the DR today, this morning, whether or not he wants to use it. If he doesn't want to use it, he doesn't have to. But if he does, let's say, for example, he says, hey, I'm going to use it. I'm going to save Jag. And then Jag's evicted. Everything's nullified. Jag does not get evicted. HOH that week, everyone will play. Cameron will get a chance to play in the new HOH after the eviction's canceled. Because technically the eviction would go through and then it would be canceled. And then the HOH would take place and Cameron would get to play. I would guess that Felicia would get to play as well, because that would seem a little unfair if a whole week goes by of gameplay and then they don't let her compete in the competition as well. But since she was the previous HOH, I could see them being like, oh, no, we're just rewinding. And that would kind of stink for her. But that is a possibility. And if, for example, he said, oh, I want to save Blue instead, nothing would happen. It would be like it didn't take place, and then the power would roll over to the next week, which is the same deal. Same thing if he chose not to use it at all. He just gets to do the same thing next week, where he gets to say whether or not he wants to save somebody. If they do get saved, everything's nullified, and the current HOH gets to play again in the next HOH competition. Now, this also seemed to come a little bit as a shock to Jared. Jared really thought like, oh, I got Corey and I got Matt. Those are like my people, right? Cirie, she's got Izzy, she's got Felicia, right? Corey and Matt, they're mine. So to find out that Matt told his mom this information and not him felt like it really hurt Jared. And listen, you're not the first and you ain't going to be the last to get outplayed by your mother, kid. just be ready for this. Other than that, though, going around to the house, people did start to kind of wonder, like, hey, why isn't Blue campaigning at all, really? It seems like she's just kind of laying low. That got people a little bit paranoid, but that's always what they do. Cameron just kind of wanted a heads up. He's like, listen, if they get 5 votes, just let me know. Like, we can work out how the split's going to go. Like, do we keep Blue? Do we keep Jag? Like, we can figure it out from there. But if he's got the votes, just give me a heads up. Jag was campaigning and very hard, but really to no avail. Some were trying to tell him, like, hey, it's just not going to work out, including Cameron. When he pitched to Cameron, Cameron's like, they're not telling you 100%. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bud. Felicia was trying to tell him that she doesn't think that Izzy and Cirie really are on board anymore, but, you know, see if he can get the votes. Everyone else just kind of agreed to lie to him, and just kind of go along and say, yep, you're safe, you're staying, bud. So it could be a bit of a blindside, but I imagine someone's going to tip him off right before the eviction. This is just kind of the keep things calm until the actual eviction starts. He also, though, admitted to Felicia and Cirie that he did play on the comp. So that's kind of how we figured out that Jag did actually play, was when he told Cirie and Felicia. Though we did have our theories, right? There were like the little smirks at the camera and stuff like that that kind of made us think, yeah, he did play. And then Cirie actually suggested to him, she said, hey, listen, get everybody together, right? See if they got the votes and then go from there, right? If you're not 100% sure. Which later ended up being kind of a thing and making things a little bit bonkers, because when Jag went and told Corey this, he went and reported back and he's like, man, he wants to get everybody together. He thinks he's got 8 votes to stay and he wants to get everybody in a room to confirm it, which Izzy and Cirie thought was hilarious. But then Suri's like, actually, my bad. I might have given him the idea. That might have been my fault. How do we get out of this? Because now we have to lie to him. And that's pretty much what they did. They were going to lie to him and say, listen, you're safe. Don't worry about it. And that's kind of how everything was going. America, though, didn't like this. Suri, I'll give Suri this. She also wasn't a huge fan of having to lie to him about this. Kind of blamed Izzy, even though she was the one who suggested to get the group together. Nonetheless, America didn't like this, and she actually started to get pretty heated. She tried to tell Jag, she's like, you're getting played. This is exactly what they did to Riley. But Jag wasn't really hearing any of it. And she just continued to get into a bad mood. And then it didn't really help because Corey was like, trying to calm her down a lot. Like, hey, relax, everything's fine. But then he told her that Red called her a bitch. And that made everything even worse. That made everything so much worse. She was ready to confront him. She's like, what do you mean? What do you mean he did that? I'm going to go talk to him right now. And Corey's like, whoa, you don't need to do that. Relax. Just calm down. She's like, okay. And then it was kind of a funny part where Corey was telling, he's like, honestly, I'm very impressed that you're holding it back as much as you are. He's like, if I was in your position, I don't think I could hold it in as well. And she's like, I am because you told me to. He's like, well, I don't want to tell you what to do all the time. She's like, I like when you tell me what to do. That was kind of funny. But she was very upset. She was heated, right? She was in a mood when it came to Red. She was in a mood when it came to Izzy and Suri and the rest of them all wanting to lie to Jag. She wanted to be honest with them because she sees what's going on. She even told Blue as well. She's like, they all think they're so smart, but nobody's calling them out on it. And Corey's been doing a pretty good job so far of kind of covering for her, right? He's been really doing well, like with Izzy, to just be like, like we can calm this down. Until probably today, when he kind of realized it was starting to hurt his standing in the house. He did pretty much throw her under the bus to Izzy. One, he was trying to like distance himself a little bit, where he was telling her earlier in the day, he's like, I don't know if I really have feelings for her yet like that. And he was like a little worried. He's like, does that make me like am I a bad guy? And this is like, no, you're not bad for that. And he also said, like, I'm not going against you, right? Like, I'm here working with you two. But then later in the night, he then tells her, like, oh, America might have mentioned splitting you guys up, but I told her that was dumb. I said that's not what we're doing. So, Corey, I don't know what you're doing, but you're kind of sealing America's fate right now. Like, I would maybe be a little bit more careful what you say. Also, Corey has noticed that Matt is a real gamer. He's very much out for being a shark, especially with how at first Matt was like, oh, we should just tell him, right? Get it over with Jag. But then afterwards, he was kind of on board. He's like, yeah, let's just lie to him, right? And like as quickly as he took to that, Corey kind of has been telling America, like, you see what I'm talking about with Matt? Like, we gotta watch out for him. Meanwhile, while all this was going on, we had Snickerdoodles. Let me explain. So, even actually, before we get to the Snickerdoodles, we got to talk about Bowie. So, Izzy, like we were saying, things have been a little tough, right? Izzy apparently didn't laugh at a joke that Bowie Jane said. And this made Bowie upset. And Bowie started crying that Izzy didn't laugh at her joke. She then went to tell Suri and kind of, I don't even know if she necessarily went to Suri, but Suri eventually went off to the room, the comic room, kind of by herself to vent. And then there were some other people that joined her, like Felicia. And she just goes off about how, like, she's too much. She's a grown woman. Like, why is she crying? Like, this is too like too much, right? Like I can't keep dealing with all these emotional wrecks. She actually had a nice fun little rant with Mimi about that later too. But that was a whole thing. Felicia then told Izzy, who got upset by the whole thing, but also that potentially Bowie is telling Red and Cameron about it, and she's already on rough roads with Red and Cameron, so she doesn't want to be in any more trouble with that. But luckily, this all seemed to fade away once they ate, because Izzy and Bowie were both have-nots. I think they were just getting hangry. They just needed some food in them. Once they got some food in them, everything kind of calmed down. Speaking of food, we have the snickerdoodles. So what happened with the snickerdoodles? Well, Red made some snickerdoodles, and Izzy doesn't like snickerdoodles, but she had to eat them anyway, and she wasn't happy about this. And this was all kind of happening as Corey was talking down America from confronting Red, and Izzy kind of joined in to help with that, and she gave this great little speech, and I kind of just want to do a little reenactment of it because it's maybe one of the funniest things I have heard in a very long time. And this is a quote from Izzy to America. Red's making his effing snickerdoodles right now. I don't know. I don't care how delicious they are. I don't like snickerdoodles. I didn't ask him to make snickerdoodles. I told him while he was making them, don't be offended. I just don't like snickerdoodles. But after they came out, oh, look, they taste like cinnamon sugar, right? It's exactly the same. And now I'm obligated to eat the snickerdoodle cookies. And guess what, America? So are you. You will eat the metaphorical snickerdoodle cookie. And it was just a great rant. I absolutely loved it. After this, Corey and Izzy kind of talked about kind of the whole mess of everything that's going on. And this was another funny part where Corey then kind of says to Izzy, he's like, you know, I might have messed that up telling her about Red. And on top of that, I really hope she doesn't confront him because I may have embellished a little bit. So Corey's kind of trying to put some water on that fire and make sure that America doesn't get too heated. And he also admitted that one of his big fears is that one day America's just going to get some wine in her and just go off. And honestly, give her some wine. I want to see America with wine. I want more of this. She's also kind of the only one right now who's not only seeing that Cirie and company are kind of running everything and everything goes through them, but that it needs to be stopped. She's, again, the only one talking about potentially nominating Cirie and Izzy together and kind of breaking that up. Yes, Felicia and Mimi kind of had their doubts about it, but I do not think there's anywhere close to putting the two of them up together. And then the other thing that's kind of rough is because everybody's coming after America right now, if Red were to win HOH, he's going to go after America. If America wins HOH, she originally was going to go after Red, which I actually think at the end of the day, if she won HOH, that's probably what she would end up doing, would be like Red and Bowie and Red or Cameron, instead of going after Cirie or Izzy. But I could see a backdoor option maybe that she might try and pull. But America also is a gamer. She's a fan of the show. She's one of us. So she might actually make the move that needs to be done. But nonetheless, it was very entertaining. Other than that, that pretty much wraps up what happened on the feeds. Again, Jag had his little meeting with everybody where they all just kind of lied to him and were like, well, that's going to be it. There was a few other little convos, but a lot of the times the feed were just cutting off because, again, they're trying to hide a lot of this stuff with the power, even though we were able to get everything anyway. And they showed Cirie telling us that Matt had the power, which maybe now makes me think Matt was lying to her. Who knows? But listen, I think at this point, Matt has the power. He's not going to use it. Jag's going to get evicted. And then we'll go into next week and see what happens from there. But with this house, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Again, we're only 30 days into it. There's 70 more days to go. And every day has been just as chaotic as this. It feels like we are not slowing down anytime soon. So let me know what you guys think in those comments down below. I think this was actually kind of a long video going over the feeds and then also the episode from last night. We do have the eviction tonight, so make sure you check that out. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Check out the links to all my socials in the description down below, pinned comment, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, Kick. The Discord's actually really fun. Like I said, we were talking about everything going on, the live feeds over there. So make sure you come check out, come join the chat, hang out with us. But thank you guys again so much for watching. Yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you next time.